is Joe Varisco, and I am the creative director of JRV Majesty Productions and the producer of Queer, Ill, and OK. More than a dozen proposals that came in. You know, what I try to do was be as highly representative of different community members, of different forms of chronic illness and mental illness, and a variety of mediums through artistic expression. It takes a lot, I think, for people to write a proposal, especially on something as sensitive and powerful as an experience and personal as an experience as living with a chronic illness and identifying as queer. So that was, you know, I definitely wanted to honor those experiences and provide feedback. You know, we did a lot that we could to kind of engage and keep a relationship with those people, and that was kind of how I went about choosing and curating the artists who performed for Queer, Ill, and OK. I do really enjoy the intimacy of a space like the Defibrillator Gallery, in which you know, there's not really a fourth wall at all. You are, as an audience member, you are in some way immediately engaged in a conversation with the work and the artist about their piece. I think it just provides a more engaging space for that work to be delivered in. But I really love playing on the edge there and finding out what it means to activate an audience in that way.
Having been hospitalized before, just, you know, kind of basic hospital things. And then get to a really fun question where it's like, in the case of your death, who would you like to retain ownership of your sperm? Wow, God, I hadn't even thought about kids, and now, like, who's gonna own my sperm if I die?
My daughter has to go to the hospital? And I just, you know, I was so wound around my axle, you know, it's crazy. And you were gonna send you off in an ambulance, was just like, I was just so worried.
I spent a score of years thinking I didn't have a family. One night, someone held my hand and said, "You've got me."
Got me all excited just to make me give up, because being positive sometimes don't seem a plus. But then I thought about his negativity rendering him, mathematically speaking, more positive than me. Disease squared, he'd never see himself reflected in me. All of my potential untapped because of my HIV.
I think Queer, Ill, and OK for me felt like a personal success. We were able to have over 250 people there over 2 nights, which is pretty awesome. I was able to raise enough money to pay all of the artists what I wanted to and cover all of the rest of our fees for venue and camera and lighting and tech and all this other stuff. So as far as that goes, I feel like it was a success, but it was definitely a lot of work as well. From having initial conversations to writing a budget to applying for grants and running a Kickstarter, booking a venue, talking with people, engaging artists, reviewing proposals, doing promotional materials, doing photo shoots, interviews, etc., and to the actual day of the show itself. Yeah, it was probably a little bit more than 6 months. I absolutely did not want to include my individual performance or anything like that. It felt like a little bit too much of giving limelight to myself, which I was not like a huge fan of. I would rather make sure that I give the opportunity or offer the opportunity for others to share their work. And you know, the work for the entire show is a work of mine that I'm producing, so that's already a part of who I am. There's a piece that I have performed several times, also kind of was helpful in developing this show. It's called Home Again. It's a piece that I've done here in a couple of different places around Chicago, and then also elsewhere in the Midwest, talking about being diagnosed with HIV, and kind of what that experience was for myself and processing it in my relationship, as well as talking with my family and my community about it. And it was a nice cathartic piece for me to go through, but I feel like I've shared it enough. You know, it's out there in published form in different ways as well. I am a curator with Salon-a-thon, as I mentioned earlier. Salon-a-thon is the home for underground, emerging, and genre-defying arts. It happens every single week for the last 3 years at Beauty Bar. It's a free event. It is created and curated by Jane Beachy. I host one night out of the month for that show, usually the last Monday of every month. It's called Lexica. Currently, I'm working with Salon-a-thon and the Neo-Futurists on a show called Infiltration, which is really exciting. It'll take Salon-a-thon artists and Neo-Futurist ensemble members to collaborate, and some of those pieces will be seen on Friday nights for the next 7 Fridays at the Neo-Futurarium, and then a second part of that will be happening in public spaces around the city in the fall. A bunch of different things that I do with J. Every Majesty Productions. Part of that is client-based work, which is, you know, people coming to me and saying that they have an idea, a project, whatever it is that they want, an event that they would like to do, and I help find ways in which to support, provide resources, and produce that event. Other things that are in the works, and there are probably plenty of things that I'm missing. Yeah, I try to stay busy, and I'm really excited that I get the opportunity to work with this many people. It's kind of exciting to think of projects that I do, like Queer and Okay, to have a life beyond me, and so that's something that I'm excited about. As far as the work in general for queer community and chronically ill community or differently abled community in Chicago, my hope is just that there's more works that continue to be produced like this, that it doesn't have to be kind of this highlighted feature production of just these specific identities, but that more folks who do have differences, such as a chronic illness of some kind or are differently abled in some way, start to feel more comfortable or excited about the opportunity to share their story in a different space. Starting a conversation is not always easy to do, but once it's started, it gets easier, I think. And I think it's really important to keep the conversation going. You know, it's when we get silence and when we kind of reserve ourselves or pull away from talking about the issues that we're facing, that larger problems start to happen. Celebrating and recognizing those differences is something that we can all do a little bit more of. I am a catalyst. I'm a catalyst for creating works and for opening conversations to community. Gosh, that sounds really inflated, but I definitely find my role in the world, in community in general, to be centered around this idea of a catalyst.